1% in some settings. Thus, addressing missed opportunities for vaccination has become imperative for attaining unmet aspirations in the Global Vaccine Action Plan.
Aspirations.
And for providing catch-up vaccinations to undo the pandemic's damaging impact on immunization progress.
Now, they are talking about, I'm looking at some of the references here. Mm-hmm. So it seems, without explanation in the write-up here, they switch from talking about vaccination for COVID-19 to your routine vaccinations.
Mm-hmm.
At least 80 million children under 1 at risk of diseases such as diphtheria, measles, and polio as COVID-19 disrupts routine vaccination efforts, warn Gavi, WHO, and UNICEF. Oh, great. So yeah, they're saying COVID has slowed down vaccinations of other routine vaccinations, I guess. Which again, they don't. Makes sense. It does, but they don't say that. I had to go into the references to find that point. It's just weird that they didn't, I don't know, just say what they're trying to say.
In line with its fourth strategic priority, what is that, the fourth industrial revolution? Fulfilling IA 2030's vision will require a sound understanding of the burden of missed opportunities for vaccination and its multidimensional determinants at national and subnational levels, instituting context-appropriate remedial measures and periodically monitoring progress and adapting corrective interventions.
Wow. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Basically, they're just kicking it into high gear to not only try to vaccinate everybody with COVID-19, but also play catch up with all these other routine vaccinations.
Yeah.
Just keep the needles flying, baby.
And I like the very last sentence here, just in a different paragraph. We declare no competing interests, which is to say, we are completely loyal to the New World Order.
We declare no competing interests. Wow, that must be some sort of mandatory thing that they write in there. What a weird. We declare no competing interests. All right. Well, let's keep moving then.
Okay.
One last one before we get into some other fun stuff. This is dailymail.co.uk. The headline, Chinese military engineered mice with humanized lungs in 2019 to test viruses on them, just months before the pandemic erupted. Whoopsies.
Welcome to Chinese News!
Medical researchers with the Chinese army engineered mice with humanized lungs in 2019 to test viruses on them. It has been reported. It has been reported. So it is reported. So it shall be. Yeah, okay, good. We got some chimera mice mixed in with the COVID story here. The mice, developed using CRISPR gene editing technology, were mentioned in an April 2020 study which researched their susceptibility to SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes the COVID-19 illness. Vanity Fair revealed in its bombshell investigation.
Vanity Fair, again, just really doing some heavy-duty journalism.
Weird that Vanity Fair sticking their noses in places other than the fashion industry, but okay. Of the study's 23 co-authors, 11 of them worked for the Academy of Military Medical Sciences, the medical research institute for the Chinese army. Interesting. 23 and 11. Two sort of significant occult numbers there.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Investigators with the U.S. National Security Council researching the origins of the pandemic determined that the mice referenced in the study were created in the summer of 2019, just months before the emergence of the pandemic. The National Security Council investigators also reportedly believed they had uncovered important evidence supporting the theory that COVID-19 had leaked from a lab and began reaching out to other federal agencies, Vanity Fair reported. Quote, "We were dismissed. The response was very negative," said Anthony Ruggiero, the senior director at the National Security Council. Just for some context regarding the vote that just happened about the human chimera hybrid
Yeah.
bill that got struck down by the Democrats.
That's right.
And also Fauci's love of chimeras and gain of function research.
yeah.
He's a huge fan of both of those things. And that's part of the motivation why he had to fund the Wuhan lab, is because over there you can do gain of function research. You can use chimeras, which the U.S. labs are not allowed to do.
In fact, some people think Fauci is a mouse human hybrid.
He does have mousy features. But let's keep going. Shi Jingli, the Wuhan Institute of Virology lead researcher on the coronaviruses known as the Batwoman for her research on bat viruses, appears to have tested at least 2 novel coronaviruses on humanized mice in the last 3 years. Vanity Fair also revealed, citing comments she made to a scientific journal and grant information. Wow. Okay, these poor mice, these humanized mice got coronavirus tested on them at the Wuhan lab. This it just doesn't stop, does it?
No.
She has refuted claims that COVID-19 leaked from a lab at the Wuhan Institute of Virology and that the facility conducts military research. However, she was interviewed in a Scientific American article first published in March 2020, in which she recounted how she frantically went through her own lab's records from the past few years to check for any mishandling of experimental materials, especially during disposal. She was relieved when none of the genetic sequences from patients with COVID-19 matched those of viruses her team had sampled from bat caves. Quote, "That really took a load off my mind. I had not slept a wink for days," she told the outlet. Interesting. They might get into this right now, but as we know, the coronavirus that made its way around the world does not match the bat cave coronaviruses either, which is part of the reason why they think it was engineered and not a natural bat coronavirus. So this little part here where she's like, "Oh, okay, there was no match. Good. I'm innocent." Like, well, not quite how this works, but okay. In January, the State Department released a fact sheet slamming the Chinese Communist Party of systematically preventing a transparent and thorough investigation of the COVID-19 pandemic's origin. The State Department acknowledged in a fact sheet at the time that the virus could have emerged naturally from human contact with infected animals. Quote, "Alternatively, a laboratory accident could resemble a natural outbreak if the initial exposure included only a few individuals and was compounded by asymptomatic infection," the fact sheet reads. Could have been. The State Department noted that the Wuhan Institute of Virology has collaborated on publications and secret projects with China's military while presenting itself as a civilian institution. The WIV has engaged in classified research, including laboratory animal experiments on behalf of the Chinese military since at least 2017. Wow. So 2017 rearing its ugly head again.
Yep.
What were we doing in 2017 while Fauci was writing the script for the pandemic and
I think we
this
were doing
Chinese
this
lady
show.
was creating the virus?
I'm pretty sure we were doing this show, and
We were
reporting on all the-
we were just in our second year of doing this show.
yeah.
Okay. Scrolling down, Bloomberg reported that China later denounced the State Department's fact sheet as full of fallacies and the last madness of Mr. Lies, Mike Pompeo, the former Secretary of State.
Wow, that's
Wow. Full of
Interesting.
fallacies, the last madness of Mr. Lies. That is a great book title.
It does sound like a
That is
like
excellent. Full of fallacies, the last madness of Mr. Lies. We got to remember that. The Vanity Fair report also detailed in length other evidence that supports the lab leak theory while detailing how U.S. investigation into COVID-19's origins have been impeded from investigating that theory. And as the Daily Mail does, it goes on and on and on for about 100 more paragraphs. I've noticed a thing with Daily Mail. they will start, and it's good for them. It's not quite good for the show because we just can't handle these long articles. But they start out with the headline, humanized mice used in coronavirus Chinese experiments. And they give you, about 10 paragraphs of it. But then they spend 100 paragraphs working backwards in time, piece by piece, to connect all the dots all the way to, all the way to today. Which is interesting. I mean, even down here at the bottom, they go into Fauci's funding of the Wuhan lab, et cetera, et cetera.
So the modern SEO strategies, I guess.
Yeah, it certainly helps with SEO, but also, it's kind of a good way of like giving people, we have the full picture. We've been putting the full picture together since this all started. But for somebody who hasn't had all the dots connected for them, the Daily Mail does it in every single article, which is kind of like, it's kind of annoying because it's kind of what we do. But they just do it in article form. So, if you get tricked into reading more than 10 paragraphs in a Daily Mail article, we're just repeating news from like a year ago that we already knew. Yeah. But there you go. Human mice chimeras being used in the Wuhan lab, specifically having coronaviruses tested on them. It's got the chimeras. It's got the gain of function research. It's got the Fauci funding. It's all coming together.
Excellent. Oh, you want me to play that jingle? Hold on. I have to find it. Where is it? I'm not used to having this new one here.
It's okay. I was just throwing it out there in case you had it.
Well, I do. I'm just not paying attention.
It's all coming together.
There it is. All right. Anything else on that?
I think that's all. We should break.
Did the mice get you?
My mice lungs are failing me.
Your mouse lungs.
I need to...
All right. Let's take a little break and celebrate some producers.
It's break time.
Come on, take a break, folks. All right, we're just going to take a short little break, but don't go anywhere because after the break, we're getting into some politics. We got some Biden-China news, talking about Trump and his Facebook situation. Also, going to be talking about some homeschooling news, which I found very interesting, and I know we got a lot of homeschoolers out there, so stick around for that. And then, of course, we'll be ending with a Nephilim update. But before that, we want to take a second and thank some of our producers because we are so grateful to them for keeping the show going. You might notice, folks, no advertisements, no affiliate codes, no super male enhancement supplements being sold here. No. We have, for better or for worse, divested ourselves from the traditional funding models that are a bit problematic for a number of reasons. First of all, we get it. We understand some people are triggered right now that we're going to be thanking some people for supporting the show, but I will encourage you to stick around because within these breaks is tons of awesome content. We learned that over the past few episodes. Some of the best content and info that you might not know comes during these breaks. And we want to thank our producers because they make the show going. These are the people that make the show happen and keep the show free and mind control free for the rest of us. So thank you very much. And as usual, I want to talk a little bit about the value for value model. It's very simple. It works like this. We do the show. We do it 3 times a week. We do our very darndest to make it good and to bring you stuff that you either won't get anywhere else or you would have to spend 5 straight days reading articles to find the stuff, or go into just somebody else's weird blog that you probably shouldn't be taking as full truth. We walk through it with you, and it's a revolution, is what it is, and we are absent of advertising because advertising is a form of mind control. And I know that some people would rather watch an advertisement for Swiffer WetJet